the smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithy.
Hi, this is Cole Smithy with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. John DuPont's transition from politically connected right-wing patriarch of America's wealthiest family to deranged murderer via a self-appointed Olympic wrestling coach position is the progression of Bennett Miller's nuanced true crime drama.
Do you have any idea who I am? Some rich guy calls you on the phone. I wanted to speak with you about what you hope to achieve.
Look deeper into the film and you'll find a sobering allegory for a ubiquitous sort of willfully ignorant, privileged blue blood Republicans buying power in exchange for fleeting moments of feudal glory. A machine gun fetishist with his own military tank on an 800-acre estate in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, John DuPont could be the Republican Party's ideal poster boy. A dialogue-free scene observes Olympic wrestling brothers Mark and David Schultz engaged in their daily physical activity of mano-a-mano wrestling practice in a dingy gym in an economically distressed U.S. town. Mark, played by Channing Tatum, carries a heavy emotional burden that causes him to violently lash out at his brother David, played by Mark Ruffalo, in a temperamental way that reflects the intimate bond of siblings reliant on one another for their sole source of familial support. Some blood is spilled, no comment is made. Wrestling is a tough sport. David has a wife and kids, but Mark is a profoundly unhappy person. After Mark gives a solemn paid speech to a group of school kids about his recent 1984 Olympic wrestling win and the significance of the medal he proudly wears, a school staff member confuses him with his older brother David, who also won Olympic gold in '84. Mark's status as an underachiever living in his brother's shadow has not gone unnoticed by a certain wealthy exploiter with a strategy for hiring the Schultz brothers to head up a private wrestling program on his family's Foxcatcher estate.
This is more than just some piece of metal.
It's about what the metal represents.
Why does a wealthy dilettante care about having a lot of sweaty young guys in tight-fitting uniforms around him when his controlling mother, played by Vanessa Redgrave, considers wrestling a low sport? John DuPont exerts that coach is father, coach is mentor, coach has great power on an athlete's life. An unexpected call from DuPont interrupts Mark's daily ramen meal, requesting a meeting for which Mark will be flown first class to DuPont's estate. John DuPont shrewdly lets Mark name his price, $25,000, to come live on Foxcatcher Farm to train in the estate's spacious private wrestling gym in preparation for the upcoming 1988 Olympics in Seoul. Unable to convince his brother David to move his family to DuPont's estate to train together, Mark moves into a well-appointed cottage on the DuPont grounds and begins to train under John DuPont's dubious tutelage. In the months that follow, DuPont manipulates Mark into a kept boy with frosted hair and a newly acquired addiction to cocaine. While no sexual overtures are made, a clear homoerotic tension exists in John's friendship with Mark. Their odd relationship is made public during a political dinner in Washington, D.C., where Mark publicly acknowledges DuPont's influence as a father in a speech written by DuPont. The intersection of mainstream Republican politics and John DuPont's carefully orchestrated public relations campaign regarding his self-appointed place in the sports world points out the ways in which American power glorifies and sustains itself.
Mark.
As Arthur Miller once stated, power is power because it doesn't listen. Foxcatcher is a movie that works on multiple levels to observe how the American elite use and abuse power toward the destruction of everything it touches. I give this outstanding picture an A. My sleeper pick is Red Army, and my guilty pleasure pick is Tommy Lee Jones's The Homesman. My must-have DVDs are F for Fake from the Criterion Collection, A 5-Star Life from Music Box Films, and Abbas Kiarostami, A Report from Pathfinder Home Entertainment. Following hot on the heels of the 1972 Watergate scandal that cost President Nixon his job and left the American public's trust in government at an all-time low, the Parallax View is a textbook American political thriller.
The committee wishes to emphasize that there is no evidence of any wider conspiracy.
The espionage-laden narrative deals with a conspiracy between a shadowy hitman recruiting company, the Parallax Corporation, and the U.S. government. The fact that such practices are considered commonplace in modern-day America doesn't blunt the film's effectiveness as a perceptive piece of agitprop cinema. Co-producer Warren Beatty plays Joe Frady, an investigative journalist researching treachery linked to the assassination of an independent senator headed for a presidential run. The political assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Robert F. Kennedy, and Salvador Allende were still fresh in the public consciousness. The brutal homicide occurs in the midst of an Independence Day function at Seattle's Space Needle skyscraper, which serves to establish the film's modern iconography and high-wire sense of suspense. During the 3 years since the Seattle assassination, 6 of the witnesses have died under mysterious circumstances, and more bodies are piling up as time advances. Frady references the title of Alvin Toffler's 1970 novel Future Shock in response to a plea for help from his former lover Lee Carter, played by Paula Prentice, one of the people present at the assassination. Future shock refers to an accelerated rate of technological and social change that leaves people suffering from a permanent state of shattering stress or disorientation. Lee is paranoid that someone is trying to kill her. Frady soon regrets not responding to Lee's appeal when her fears become fact. Paranoia is the catchphrase of the film's tone. It's a trait that baffles Frady, but he comes around after discovering a recruiting survey, property of the Parallax Corporation, inside a local sheriff's house. Director Alan J. Pakula of All the President's Men and Sophie's Choice fame creates dynamic, grand-scale set pieces that bristle with danger. In one such scene, Frady fishes in a river just below an enormous dam. The sheriff brings Frady a sandwich just as the dam's deafening alarm begins to sound and millions of gallons of water are unleashed on our hippie hero journalist. The sheriff is really there to assist in Frady's demise in any way that he can. A devilish car chase sequence follows after Frady co-ops the sheriff's patrol car. It was the 70s, after all, when filmmakers were constantly attempting to go one better than the next guy when it came to car chases. The film's aura of social queasiness comes to a head during a Parallax training film that Joe Frady watches in a screening room at the Parallax offices. Frady's fingers sit on a device that measures his responses as he watches. Words such as love, mother, father, country, God, and enemy accompany montage images of nationalistic iconography. Cordial symphonic music shifts to a military mode. Violent images take over. Pakula's film within a film provides a key to understanding the intent of brainwashing that Parallax attempts to instill in Frady's psychology. Alan J. Pakula's own death by a freak accident involving a metal pipe spun through his windshield by another car on the Long Island Expressway puts an uneasy footnote to a celebrated career spent making socially important films. Thanks for watching, and visit ColeSmithy.com for more.